Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Breaking Point, and today we are breaking down possibly the greatest hitter to ever walk this planet, Ichiro Suzuki. I had the pleasure of facing him towards the end of his career when he was with Miami. I think this is back in 2016. Did not get the pleasure of facing him when he was in his prime. I watched him. I remember going to spring training as a kid, the first year that he came over to the United States, and just watching him walk around and knowing who he was and asking for autographs. And I've been a big fan of his for a long time. So this one's special for me because it's a player I grew up watching, I grew up knowing, and have a lot of respect for just what he was able to accomplish both in Japan and in the United States. So this is going to be a fun one. Ichiro Suzuki, why he's so good, and breaking down some of the at-bats that I had against him. And the attack plan, so let's get into it. I call this crisscrossing the corner. Tunneling is a crazy concept. There's no way a big leaguer swings at that. If this ball's 1-7, he absolutely crushes it. Boom, that's the breaking point. All right, first things first, we got 4 at-bats. We ended up winning this game. I pitched pretty well, but got 4 at-bats against Ichiro, and he definitely got the best of me in basically all of them. So let's play it through. I hate when they do that with the camera angle. They don't even show you the pitch. Pretty much the story of these at-bats. Lots of balls in and up. And I got through. All right, so those are the at-bats. Let's, the first things first, play it through. And then the next thing up is we have a scouting report against Ichiro. At this point in his career, this is what it was. Not saying this is what it was for his entire career, but anything basically in here does not like it. How it was termed to me when it was being discussed is that he's kind of scared of the ball. So anything that starts inside here, running back towards the plate, anything that starts kind of in here. How did that happen? Got the wrong thing up on the screen. Anything that starts in here, running off the plate, he's going to kind of struggle with. So let's get our strike zone back up. What he hits well, so basically you want to keep hard stuff in here, and you want to get soft stuff kind of breaking in over here, down and in. Anything chasing him, and by chasing him I mean anything moving, kind of center of the plate inward, or fastballs that are kind of true, that stay true in here, are good. Anything that's running out away from him or away, so fastballs that are kind of like running over to this part of the plate out here, or off-speed stuff that's running kind of center. Why does that keep happening? Off-speed stuff that's running center or anywhere over here, he's going to be pretty good at. So that's the idea. The report was basically to just pound him in this area with fastballs over and over and over and over again, and force him to make an adjustment to that. Don't give him anything basically on this side of the diagonal. You want to be hard up in this area. Over here is a negative. So that's the report, and let's get into it. First pitch, trying to go there. This is kind of the reaction that you're going to get. Now this pitch obviously is way up, but if you look at where it's finishing, like this pitch is probably crossing the plate, maybe inner third. But if you look at the reaction, the hitter reaction here, there's a shying away from the ball, getting out of there. What he's looking to do is, and you'll see this later in this at bat, is he's looking to maintain this spine angle and come out with his hip and his body towards the plate so that he can read everything, he can slow down. He's going to foul pitches up here off, and he's going to look for anything that's slow breaking into this area that he can just shoot the other way. That's kind of his approach. He's looking to shoot stuff this way and run. Every now and then he'll get something that's slow in here and he'll pull it for a homer or for a hit or a double or something like that. But he's looking to basically maintain this spine angle the entire time, and anything that's in this area forces him to lose that spine angle. So you see this, he's landing, and we immediately get the weight back onto the heels, and he's going back this way, and that's what we're trying to do by getting the ball up here. So, all right, let's move on here. I hate this. Basically, this is a changeup that I'm trying to throw over here. It starts way in, and it comes back and catches the bottom in portion of the zone. Berto does a fantastic job of doing what he can with this pitch and catching it. But if you look at, you can kind of see it here. He's starting to move out of the way, but there's this big hop backwards because this ball started in here and he wants no part of that ball in there. Nor would any lefty want a part of a ball that's going to hit him. So anyway, my changeup has a good amount of fade this year, so it starts inside and it comes back and catches the corner. So now we're in a 1-1 count. Again, and this is what we see on pitches that are in this area. Now this pitch runs back and kind of catches quite a bit of the plate, and it's not quite belt high. It's in a very hittable location. But again, if we look at the diagonal that we talked about, if this is the strike zone somewhere in here, this pitch is on the correct, that's not a very good line. Oh gosh. Here's our strike zone. And if we draw a line this way, this pitch is on the correct side of the diagonal. So what we see on the swing is foot's down and the body, the hips are kind of going this way. And he's looking to kind of shoot the hip out there and start running. But if you look at the spine angle, he does exactly what he wants here. Everything just rotates right around that. I mean, this whole entire rotation, the spine is extremely locked in. The head never leaves the ball. You can see this eye plane right here. He's tracking this the entire way, and he can do that. You notice how still his head is. That's one thing that we should talk about. Watch how still his head is here through this whole process. Scroll it back. There is very little head movement. The eyes are on plane. The head moves very little. The only thing that happens is the head turns a little bit from looking out this way to looking back this way as he's tracking the ball. But there's really no, there's no tilting of the head. Some guys' heads will start on this plane, and as the pitch comes, they'll tilt. So their eyes are moving in this direction as the ball's moving in this direction. So there's a lot of movement going on there. Some guys' heads will be here, and then they'll rotate and they'll pull them out this way as the ball is traveling to the plate. That's not good either. Some guys, if you look at it from the side, if the hitter is here, let's see if I can draw a good hitter. This guy's here and he's got his bat. The pitcher's over here. They'll move forward a lot. And so their head is actually moving forward quite a bit. And if they have any sort of bobble in their head, their eyes are moving and they can't square up the ball. They can't place the barrel where the ball is going to end up because there's so much movement in their head. Now you have a moving head and a moving object. Doesn't make it very easy to do. Ichiro has some movement with his body. His body is putting himself in a position where he can start to run. He's looking to shoot this ball this way and run. That's his whole approach. But if you look at his head, it's extremely still. The eyes are level. There's very little movement of the head other than just swiveling to track the ball. And this is one of the reasons he's probably the best hitter of all time at putting the barrel on the ball. Now he misses this pitch, but it's not because the swing broke down or anything. He just happened to miss the pitch. But the head positioning, the head movement or lack of head movement is extremely important to watch. And it can get distracting or misleading watching how much motion is in the body right here. Because you see his body moving and he opens up like this and you think, oh man, he really pulled off that ball. He really didn't. The body did, but he stayed on the ball. He shot his hands straight through the ball. you can see this motion with the hands right here. They don't pull off and go this way immediately. There's a frame where they actually roll over in this direction, and then he pulls off. So he's staying through this ball right there. The hands roll straight in plane out this way with the ball, and then he pulls off and decelerates everything. But through this plane, the head is still, and the hands are shooting straight back up the middle. Really impressive stuff. All right, let's go on. 1-2, and this is exactly what he's looking to do. If you look at Berto, he's in position right here to basically drop to his knees and block this. We're trying to bounce this ball right here. I hang it, and exactly what Ichiro is looking to do. If you look here, foot is down, sinks into his legs, buys himself some time, sinks into his legs a little bit more. He's just waiting. Head is on the ball. He just watches it the entire time, and just puts a barrel on it. Already running out of the box to get down to first, but he doesn't need it because he puts the barrel on this ball and just shoots it over the shortstop's head. Now, if you look, a lot of people say Ichiro pulled off the ball because the body is going that way. But look at his hands. His hands never wrap around this ball. They never roll over this way. They shoot straight back through the plane of the ball. Right there. He's carrying his hands straight back to the plate. He's not really trying to do a whole lot with this. He's just trying to basically, it's like a chip shot in golf. He's just chipping it over there. He doesn't even finish his full swing. He just kind of flicks it, and he's already in a position where he can start running. This is how he beat out so many hits on the infield, obviously maximizing his best attribute, not his best attribute, one of his best attributes, which was his speed. But this is really just impressive stuff here. It's knowing where you are. It's a super experienced approach at the plate, understanding what a young player is trying to do to you. It's a really good approach. Anything hard up in here in this area, he's just going to try to foul off in this case. And then he just gets anything in the zone, and he just can shoot it out there like a little chip shot. And he just does this over and over and over. That's why he has 10,000 career hits. I know that's not the actual number, but it sure seems like it. Anyway. Next at bat. Again, we try to go up. You see this, pulling off this ball. Not pulling off it, but backing out of the way of it. Trying to go up in here. A young me doesn't understand that first pitch, I need to be in this zone and get ahead, because he's not going to swing at anything on these borderline portions of the plate, because he understands that they're going to be called balls the vast majority of the time, and he's not going to do anything with it anyway. He's going to try to get out of the way of that. So I need to aim, or I need to set my sights more on the middle part of the plate above this diagonal. But a young me is saying I need to pick off this up and in corner, and I miss and get myself behind. So just a little note about understanding who's at the plate and what their approach is. So here we are, we're 1-0, down and in. Again, I keep coming back to it, but let's see, this way. This ball starts in, it's running back towards the plate a little bit, and he's kind of, the knees are moving out of the way and wants no part of that ball in, because that's not his approach. He's looking for something on this outer half of the plate to shoot this way. Okay. Ball 2. And here we are with a changeup that's supposed to be down. Again, going on the scouting report, this is not the best place for a changeup because this runs right into his approach. Obviously, this ball up here is not the right spot, or that spot for a changeup is not the right one. But just breaking down his swing mechanics here, foot's down, hip goes because he sees this ball starting in, but it starts on the plate enough that he's going to trigger on it. And he just puts the barrel right on it, stays through it. And yes, the body is moving towards first base by design, but the hands are still coming through it, and he hits an absolute missile. And Carlos Santana at first base makes an unbelievable play, full extension right there, comes down with it. Fantastic play by Carlos. Much appreciated, my friend. All right, ball up and in, constantly behind, ball up and in, wants no part of it. Ball, and then I get a pitch here. Probably a strike, borderline for sure. Surprised that I got it 3-0. And then he misses a pitch, let's go back to that. This ball running, starting middle and running out this way is exactly what he's looking to hit. But again, this diagonal, he hits balls. All right. He hits balls on this part of the diagonal out here. This one gets a little bit on the corner, or not on the corner, on that diagonal line, which is why he misses it a little bit because it's elevated. He probably just missed it, but saving grace that this ball is a little bit up. At this point in Ichiro's career, if you could get him to hit the ball in the air, it was desirable because he didn't have the pop to drive it out to the opposite field. And anything in the air doesn't allow him to use his speed nearly as much as a ball on the ground does. So another reason why the approach was to throw the ball up. But yeah, I just keep coming back to his hands go straight through the ball. He just misses it, and then he decelerates by this position that you see with the body is just a matter of decelerating. It's not pulling off the ball. So now we're at 3-2, and we try to hit that inside corner and miss. If we go back to that, let's see. Try to bring a two-seam back here. And it comes back a little bit, but doesn't get quite all the way back. Understanding that he's going to do this on inside pitches, so I think I had him on a hip shot if I execute it, and I just missed it. So ends up with a walk, and then here we go. That ball's inside, missed by a lot. Story of my night, just constantly behind to him, at least to Ichiro. I had a decent night this night, but yeah, constantly behind to Ichiro. This is a cutter, and this one is supposed to be in this area, and this is a dangerous pitch. This is the one that he hits. It's a good pitch to throw to him if you get it off the plate in, but when it ends up here, he starts to swing and he misses this ball, but if he gets this ball slightly further out in front, if he catches this ball here instead of half a frame before, he can lift this ball. And you see the swing plane. On some of the balls, the swing plane was very flat, and he was directing the swing plane this way towards the plate, towards the mound. So he could stay through the ball, and he was trying to shoot the ball this way by doing so. So if you look from a top angle, if you're looking straight down, his bat angle, let's see, here's the plate. His bat angle is going to be like this. So he's going to drive his hands this way, and he's going to try to drive the bat in this plane as long as possible without letting the bat do this and come around the ball. All right. So any ball that's coming in here, he's just going to buy himself time. When the bat hits this ball, he's going to spray it off this way. And that's down the third base line, shortstop, flaring it over the third baseman's head. That's his whole approach. And so in order to do that, you have to take your hands here and drive them straight through while maintaining the wrist angle to maintain the bat angle. That's what his normal approach is. On this ball, you see something very different. Look at this bat angle. He gets full extension on the arms. The bat is very steep. And watch what happens here afterwards. He finishes very high. So this is his elevation swing. He's looking at this ball as a pitch that he can drive out of the ballpark. These are some of the pitches that he'll catch, and he'll hit these out. When the ball starts breaking this way and it stays in the zone, you'll see him hit these balls in this area out because he can get this steep bat angle, and he can actually get underneath this ball, and he can lift this way. When it gets inside the zone, when it gets into this area, it starts chasing him. So halfway through the swing, he realizes, and he shoots his knees out here, and he takes some really bad swings because he realizes this ball is going to be off the plate in, and it's kind of chasing his body, and he gets out of the way of it. So dangerous pitch, important to get it here. I leave it here in the zone, and I dodge a bullet because he's right on this ball. He's maybe a little bit late, but if he catches this ball in this position, it's probably a homer. It just happened to be, he happened to catch it just slightly late. So anyway, moving on. We get to 1-1. And this is the hip shot that I was talking about in the prior at bat, in the 3-2 count. If I execute this pitch, this comes back, probably catches the inner third by the time it's crossing the plate, probably somewhere around in these two frames. But watch the body language. This ball starts in, his foot gets down, and then the hips go, and he's getting out of the way of this because he recognizes it as a ball, and this runs back over the inside part of the plate. If I execute this in the 3-2 count, last at bat, he takes it. It's a strikeout. I just happened to miss. It didn't quite get back. Stayed off the plate in. So kind of wasted the hip shot there. I get the strike, but I kind of wasted the freeze effect of it before 2 strikes. And now the next pitch we go into this good location, and this is exactly what happened. Here's our diagonal. This is the spot I was trying to hit basically all night. Get our strike zone up here. And if we look at where this ball actually ends up, it's right on the corner, right where I want it. And this is kind of what happens to him. When he catches this ball, this breaks his bat. He catches this ball right on the handle, and it almost looks like it kind of double taps off his bat. It has this weird spin on it. It was hit very slowly. I react to it, and I try to get up there and catch it. It nicks off my glove, deflects a little bit, ends up being a hit up the middle. Even if Jason, I think this is Jason, right? Yeah, even if Jason catches this ball, he's got no chance at throwing Ichiro out. He's too fast. Jason's moving way too fast this way. By the time he's able to stop himself or jump and throw, Ichiro's going to be safe. And so even on a pitch that beats him, it breaks his bat, he just fights it off and gets it over my head and gives himself a chance to run. Because by the time he's finished with his swing, you see he's already in a position to take off. Look at his first couple steps here. He's already going. By the time the ball gets back to me, he's already a step out of the box by the time it hits off my glove. So this is what he does with these pitches up and in. This is his solution to hitting them, is just to flick it over the pitcher's head, stay on it. He stays through this ball. He pulls his hands inside. You see this? Hands never get outside the ball. He just pulls them in. That's what I was talking about maintaining the bat angle, taking the hands and the wrist angle, taking the hands straight to the mound, and he just stays through this ball. Again, just looking at the head is just so perfectly stable, and he's off to the races. So that's those are my at bats with Ichiro. Man, pretty crazy looking at that, and looking back at. Probably, in my opinion, probably the best hitter to have ever lived. At least the barrel to ball abilities. Super impressive stuff from Ichiro. Man, it's such an honor to face him. I'm glad I got to face him before his career was over. It's something I'll look back on and enjoy watching as my life goes along, and just looking back on greatness. I'm a huge fan of greatness. I'm a huge fan of watching people that are just so elite at something. It's a pleasure to watch them do what they do. And even looking back on a night when he had 2 hits, a walk, and an absolute missile that got caught, I can really respect what he's about and the approach and the ability. It's not very often you get to face someone that is probably the actual GOAT, but this is this is one of those cases. So that's Ichiro. Just not a whole lot of great ways of getting him out. He's just a really, really impressive hitter, and fun to match up against the best. So hopefully you learned something in that. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed looking back at it and breaking it down and sharing that with you guys. So if you could do me a favor, a couple things would really help me out. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Drop me some comments. Let me know who you'd want to see me break down next, what you thought of this breakdown, things I can improve about it. Anything else that's on your mind, let me know. Special shout out to all my fans in Japan. Look forward to seeing you guys again and breaking down some more Japanese hitters because really respect what they're able to do when they come over to the United States and face a large cultural change and a large change in the game and the competition. It's really fun to see them perform. So hopefully break down some more coming up here soon. But that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.